Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the Flywheel Studio here. Today, I am joined by Sergei Sokolov, the Senior Director of Product at Progress Sitefinity. Sergei, always a pleasure to get some time with you. Thanks for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Glad to be back after a little bit of overseas travel a couple of weeks ago.
Excellent.
And yes, I was looking forward to this conversation that we had to postpone a little, but now it's happening.
There you go. Great. Well, thanks for the time. I am excited to talk to you today because we're going to be getting into how Sitefinity has been recognized in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. This is a big deal. I know that it has become a bit routine for Sitefinity, but I think that's part of the narrative here. It's been 4 years in a row. There's been a little bit of movement here this year. So before I get you to weigh in on what this means for Sitefinity and the market in general, first of all, congratulations to the product team and everybody at Sitefinity. This really is quite a feat, quite an accomplishment, and something that I know you're very proud of, but let me just sort of say it anyway. You should be very proud of it, and congratulations to you.
Thank you, Scott. I think we view it as well-deserved. Obviously, right? We put a lot of effort into presenting ourselves in the best light. I think it helps position the product properly in the marketplace and get it the right visibility and so forth. But I think you recognize that as well as a partner, that it helps our ecosystem too.
Yeah. So if you want to know what we're talking about, we'll make sure that the report itself and this blog post and some of the other resources that we're talking about are linked to in the comments and the description that accompany this video. But do you want to tell us just quickly, what is the Gartner Magic Quadrant for those that are perhaps less familiar?
Funny that you asked me, but obliged. Yeah. So Gartner is one of the very top marketing research agencies that cover a whole lot of areas all around, and they actually do cover product management as well. So we use their services in that sense. One of their research areas is digital experience platforms. So they survey the vendors who are the top players in the field. They have a well-established process of evaluating them, and that consists of a questionnaire and a vendor presentation with positioning, stories, customer profiles, and the demo. And then they make vendor evaluation using the rules that are proprietary to Gartner, but they do publish a number of metrics in the critical capabilities report. And it's essentially Gartner's view on the cream of the crop in a certain market.
So suffice to say, there's rigor. You had to do a lot of work to make sure that you were showing up effectively, clearly, and to the best of your ability for this evaluation. It really is rigorous, thorough, and well considered.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, on part of a vendor, it's probably one of the most significant efforts to collect, conceptualize, and properly present the best that the vendor has at the moment to offer to customers and prospects. And you might just as well take a vacation before going into this procedure, because it's a month and a half of very, very intense work. The questionnaire, I don't know whether it has 150 questions or, some ungodly number like that, but it covers all sorts of stuff. It's not just about the product, it's about the sales effort and the partner ecosystem and the roadmap and marketing and so forth. So it's really a comprehensive view on the vendor that they take.
And so let's take a look at the quadrant itself. That'll probably help put in a little bit more color to this conversation that we have. We can see that Sitefinity there is got the progress label on it in the top right corner. of that bottom left part of the quadrant. So you're looking at ability to execute and completeness of vision, but I think it's all about sort of a wholesome narrative that you're telling about what the platform can do and how you're enabling the folks that use your platform, how you're enabling them to really bolster and leverage their digital experience for business success. Fair summary.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we're moving in a sort of trajectory here on this matrix this year. What does it mean to the folks at Sitefinity for 2025? Sort of how you've been placed on the quadrant.
So it would be probably a worth illustration if we had a comparison with the prior years. As Progress Sitefinity, Progress DX, I should say, right? We shouldn't talk really about Progress Sitefinity because we present a portfolio of solutions, and it's not limited to pure websites. There's a relatively wide spectrum of components and functionality in what we feature as our platform. That's why it's Progress. That's why it's not Sitefinity.
Right.
But over years, and yes, when we first entered the MQ in 2021, we entered as a niche player, and we started moving up and to the right over years. And this year, we've actually gotten the most significant change in our position. Significantly in the visionary direction. And I was recalling, actually, I don't remember whether it was last year or the year before, when you and Steven interviewed me after an MQ, and you asked me whether I would like to move, which direction I would like Sitefinity to move, right? And my question was, my preferred direction was ability to execute, because it means that our business is solid, we're delivering to our customers, and so forth. Yet, when this year came, we moved further into the visionaries direction.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a very interesting component to that, which we made sure to articulate, and it was well received by Gartner. Namely, that our innovation, our roadmap, and the execution that stem from these two is actually rooted in what we hear from the segment of the market that we serve, from our customers, and generally the audiences we want to address, which is what they call vision.
Right.
So based on that, I'm actually very proud that we moved in that direction, because it says that we are moving in the direction where we're aiming, and where we're aiming is relevant.
Yes. So what do you think it was in particular that helped you make that movement?
In our perception, or in Gartner's perception?
In your perception.
Well, there are a couple of really important considerations here. And one is we are really focused on making our customers successful.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you get bruises. But in the end, you exist as a vendor for the benefit of the customers.
Yes.
And I think over time, we learn, as hopefully, well, everybody, but I can clearly see that we are continuously learning what it means to be a successful vendor to our customers. So there is listening, of course, there is ability to respond, and so forth. Just in terms of the way of engagement, our product team is engaged with customers, our product team is engaged with customers, with partners. Our support has a very high degree of satisfaction. We have feedback loop for them. That said, we also are expanding the functional capabilities that we're able to provide as part of the platform. When we started, Sitefinity was kind of the core piece.
Yes.
Over time, as we re-engineered the business unit templates at Progress, and now now that we have DXVU, the portfolio that we can offer really spans the whole spectrum of digital experiences, from websites to portals to dedicated web apps.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, we're working across the aisle, so to speak, to offer better access to information. And part of our demo to Gartner this time was integration with semantic analysis of content provided by Semaphore. Semaphore is it's not a recent anymore, because it was over a year ago that Progress acquired MarkLogic and Semaphore. But now that that business is integrated, we are starting to pay attention and enabling the technical bridges between the primary DXP and other services that are available through Progress. And one of the very important points in our presentation to Gartner, I think in our positioning, is that digital experience is not about marketing sites necessarily.
Right.
And Gartner emphasized that specifically in the MQ write-up, that there's digital marketing and there are authenticated experiences. And with authenticated experiences, you get a portion of that, which is basically access to information.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is kind of an overlooked facet of what digital experience means, because it's not about lead gen, it's about delivering value to your constituents, right? Not before they became a customer, but after. And then it expands into a much broader set and types of interactions. And one of them is efficient access to relevant information. And that's one of the integrations that we showed in the demo. Sitefinity working with Semaphore to automatically classify content based on semantic ontologies that are provided by Semaphore.
Right.
Right. And this is a rare capability in the space.
Right. So I guess what I'm also hearing, I know that you could probably continue to go on about all the highlights that were in that presentation and the demo and all the work that you did. But what I'm hearing is a real, genuine commitment to listening, as you started off your answer, listening to the customer, listening to those folks that are dependent on Sitefinity, and making sure that you're responding to current clients, prospects, and the digital experiences that they want to be able to implement and amplify and so that they can extend their own business. And in many ways, you have to consider the entire sort of life cycle of, I'm going to call it a user, whether it's a prospect or a potential purchaser. A good digital experience is appropriate for each business, their situation, and the journey that they need to take their user on. If that is ending up in a transaction, in a purchase, in an upsell, in a renewal, or just in high quality information, a login, getting what they need, servicing them properly, there's a lot that goes into all the different nuances and all the different permutations of what that experience could possibly be, and being able to do that with a platform that can cross industries and purposes, but at its core just have such a solid functional infrastructure. I think, in my opinion, is really what is so remarkable about Sitefinity and what the product team is able to do with the platform.
Scott, very well said, and actually very complimentary. So I definitely appreciate that. I think one something I would like to point out, because there was commentary in the MQ with respect to other vendors of somewhat different sort. But I think for us, consistency is one of the differentiating factors. That and this also comes from listening to our customers, because the type of a customer we serve doesn't like the jumps in technology, not the changes from monolithic to headless that happen overnight, and then they need to figure out what to do with them, and so forth. That's longevity, solidity of the platform. We're obviously evolving that platform, as you well know, right? It used to be an on-prem solution years and years ago. Right now, we are, I think we have one of the leading offerings in the cloud space with Sitefinity Cloud. And we're taking very measured steps to improving the technology overall, evolving the platform, but so that we can also maintain the customer's experience on this platform over many years. And let's see, two customers that we featured in the presentation to Gartner are customers of more than 10 years. Right? They've gone through cloud upgrade and so forth. Right? It just shows that it's not, I wouldn't call it sticky. Right. Because it's sort of like you want to get it off you.
Well,
it's consistent and it delivers.
And so I think actually what that just shows is that it is really the platform. It is really the last CMS you ever need to buy, the last DXP you ever need to buy, because of its scalability and its capacity to bring sort of both growth-minded companies and savvy enterprise customers. It's able to underwrite their strategies and their digital objectives across that entire spectrum. Now, one of the things, the secret weapon that I think, I was going to call it a hidden gem, but it is more like a secret weapon, is the fact that Sitefinity has AI-driven content insights that help you advance the efficacy and the effectiveness of your digital experience. And I'm talking about Sitefinity Insight. That, I think, is a real differentiator as well. How much do you think that capacity and that feature set and what it does to enable digital experiences weighed into where you've gotten to?
Well, again, we can split it in terms of evaluation by Gartner and what we see in terms of our customer base, right? And I'll start with the customer base. And what we see among our customers, and let's be honest, not everybody today needs a highly effective CDP customer platform. It's a solution to a different problem, generally, than the pure CMS. But the combination of CMS and CDP is actually very powerful. Because it allows you to not only put the content out, but put the content out in the way that facilitates better engagement, better value to their end users, to the customers and users, in a way that can be measured.
Exactly.
You can just throw the content out, and that's frequently, unfortunately, still what happens. And we know well that you see that in the field, and then where you come in as Flywheel with sort of better approaches. But what Sitefinity Insight allows customers to do is sort of grow into that pattern.
And allows them to just add like I've already said, add efficacy and impact to what they're doing and really understand. I mean, so many digital marketers struggle with sort of defending their territory inside the company? Did this blog post help, or does that landing page do what it's meant to do? And what about the wholesome collection of all of my marketing or sales or commerce placement options? And Sitefinity Insight can very firmly, strongly answer that question for you. It is a CDP, so it does give you that customer-centric view of how are people engaging with not just my website, but you can bring in data from all kinds of other sources. So I think the integration capabilities that we haven't even touched on are a big part of this story as well. It's amazing to me that progress isn't like way on the right side of this, because I get to talk to you regularly and collaborate on that vision, and it is so clear to me that there's a very purposeful direction that the product is going. So, let's hope those analysts have my number next time they're putting one of these reports together. Sergei, any final thoughts here? Thank you again for your time, and best of luck with how things are rolling forward. I guess let me change my parting question for you. What can folks expect in 2025 from Sitefinity?
I almost don't want to sound trivial, but the answer is more AI.
Yeah, more AI. Yep.
Everybody's saying more AI is better. It doesn't necessarily mean that any AI is better. The approach, and that's been the approach that we've taken with the AI capabilities that are in the platform today, whether it's in the CMS or in Sitefinity Insight, it's AI that works for you.
Right. Yes.
So we're taking kind of a complementary approach to AI. First, not necessarily assuming that we know everything that the customer may want.
Right.
So the approach that you can take with the platform today is what we call power of AI meets the power of customization.
Right.
So through the integration capability or with AI services that we are releasing relatively soon, the packaged AI services can create your own AI functions to help you create content in the way that's meaningful for your content workflow.
Right.
And the other is that it's multimodal. So we can't assume it's just text. We can't assume it's, create your images. That's all kind of silly, right? You can create your images elsewhere.
But very necessary.
Sometimes the results are actually quite funny, right? Which may work for better engagement. Nor can we assume that it's actually just Gen AI, because the world is going gaga over Gen AI. But of course, AI was born in the 1950s, and there are all sorts of technologies that can help create and deliver the right digital experience. Whether it is through the website, whether it is through targeted content, whether it is through uber personalization,
right,
or whether it is through an AI-based conversational assistant.
The big, I think, friction obstacle that we're finding when in the conversations that we're having when it comes to DXP, CMS, and AI is just sort of trust and confidence. And there's a bit of a leadership gap in on the client side in saying, yes, I can see that this is going to have value and it's going to accelerate and unlock business opportunity for me. So the only thing that I'll say about that in this moment is, if that's you owe it to yourself to just take a closer look, because the tooling and the capabilities have been built with that perspective in mind. And there are now ways to get past those uncertainties and give you visibility into the way that the AI is making its decisions and surfacing its content and enabling those workflows. So I'm very excited to see also how that gets integrated more and more into the product as we continue to roll forward.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sergei.
I'm looking forward to the rest of this year, to be honest. Right? It's going to be a race, but I know you run. Right? I used to run, but let's run.
That's right. Yeah, and it can be done very pragmatically at the same time. You know, and if you're waiting for things to sort of settle, I think you'll be caught off guard. So we look forward to continuing those conversations. Sergei, thanks again. As always, I look forward to our next conversation.
All right. See you soon.
Take care.